Okay, now that I have a bunch of topics, some ideas that I think I might be interested in, we're going to go through how do I narrow these down. So if I look at the next slide here, it's going to tell me to pick 6 subjects that I'm interested in from my own ideas or science buddies and explore the literature on them. So the first thing is I need to pick 6 of the 10 or 15 things that I wrote down that I want to explore a little bit further. So if I go back to the slide where I wrote all this information in, I'm just going to take a look at my topics. Okay, and I've got tornadoes, seasons, oil spills. I'm going to go through my list. And I'm just going to think about which ones do I feel like would maybe be the most interesting to me to research. So um, fingerprints. I'm super interested in like watching shows like Criminal Minds and like CSI. Um, I think I really would like to learn about fingerprints because they use them a lot in those types of shows that I'm really into. And I don't really understand the science behind it and how they use those and where fingerprints come from, how our body makes them. So I really think that might be something that would interest me. So I'm going to go and I'm going to write down fingerprints as one of the ideas I would like to explore a little bit more. Okay, and I'm going to go back here and I'm going to look through my list. Okay, so food, like food and drink. I have how to create the most delicious food. I really enjoy baking. I really enjoy making dinner for my family and finding ways to make healthy eating choices. I have really noticed lately that while I am doing these things, that I am feeling better. So maybe it would be interesting to read about why what I'm eating is affecting the way that I'm feeling. So I'm going to pick that as one of my topics too. Okay, and then I'm going to go through here and I'm going to pick 6 or 4 more things. I'll be right back. Okay, so I've gone in now, and from all of the ideas I brainstormed on the slide before this, I have kind of narrowed it down to the 6 things that are the most interesting to me based on what I want to learn about. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and try to find some focused ideas that I want to research further by previewing a little bit of literature about each of these different topics. So I'm going to pick right now, I'm going to look for some stuff about lying and lie detector tests. So if I click on these links up here, the first one I'm going to try to look through is Science News for Students. And when we get into the Science News for Students website, I have this little search bar up here. And I'm going to start by just typing in lying. And you see here it's going to give you, so there was my search word. I can change what topics I'm looking at. So maybe I want to look at the brain. But for right now, I'm just going to keep it as all topics, all standards. So I'm going to go down and, okay. So I see here, lying sets up a liar's brain to lie more. Okay, so I'm going to click on that because that's really interesting to me. Activity in a brain region called the amygdala may explain how small lies escalate. Okay, so even just reading that, that makes me think that, okay, maybe I want to learn about the different parts of the brain because this is talking about a region in the brain, which I know is a place called the amygdala, and how it might explain how small lies escalate. So I'm going to go back to my table. And then I'm going to fill in, so learning that there's different parts of the brain, they might affect the lies we tell. I think it'd be really interesting to look at how or what happens in our brains when we lie. So just reading that first little sentence made me think about, okay, there's different parts of our brain, they might affect the different lies that we tell. So now I'm going to go back to my article and I'm just going to skim a little bit. So as I'm reading. Okay, so here's something about study. 80 teams, teams showed 80 participants a picture of a glass jar of pennies. Participants were told to estimate how much money was in the jar. Then they had to share that estimate with the partner they couldn't see. That partner saw a smaller picture of the same jar. That meant the partner would have to rely on the participant to get a good estimate. Okay, each participant. So the participants didn't have to tell their partners the truth. Ooh, okay. In some cases, they gave them varying incentives to lie, which means they gave them different prizes if they were going to lie. So, okay, that makes me think about um, maybe, are there different types of people? Maybe gender, maybe age, um, etc. Do different types of people feel varying guilt maybe when lying? Or are different types of people susceptible to telling lies? Telling more lies. Okay, so there's a good one. So then I'm going to just go back into my article and see if I can find some more. Once I've gone through my whole article, I'm going to try the same thing using the Newsela website. So same thing, I'm going to go to Newsela. I'm going to use the search bar, which is up in the top left now. And I'm going to try the same thing. I'm going to try to type in lying and see if anything comes up. Okay, so we've got a kind lie, Legos lying around. Foolish talk leads to a bunch of malarkey. So actually, as I'm looking through this, nothing is really jumping out at me. I'll click through this kind lie and maybe I'm just going to peruse and see if there's anything that I could use. Okay, guys, so when I typed in lying, I wasn't seeing a whole lot. So I just went back up into the search and I'm trying lies instead of lying, and I'm going to hit search. And so then if I look at my searches here, okay, I see some of the same tests, but ooh, okay, so here I see lie detector test comes under fire as an FBI hiring tool, and some parents lie on survey to avoid English learner label for children. You know, you guys, without even clicking into this article, that makes me think like, okay, so some parents are lying on a survey to avoid English learner label. That makes me think about like, what are the reasons that some people have for lying? So maybe do some researching into what are some of the reasons that people are lying, and maybe there are some good reasons, or maybe different types of people lie for different types of reasons. So I'm going to go back to Newsela. And here in Newsela, I'm going to click into this lie detector test, talking about the FBI, how they use lie detector tests to determine who they're going to hire and not. And I kind of already skimmed this, and I was super interested in this article. Although all polygraph testing is controversial, scientists are highly critical of using it in job screening because it's prone to inaccuracies, because questions are more vague and more likely to provoke reactions from the innocent that might seem like deception. So for me, that's super interesting. I might want to look into lie detectors, maybe how they are used and how accurate they are. So there's a couple ways I use Newsela. I can also go back into the Science Buddies where I did my original research, and there's a search bar here. I can do the same thing. I can type in lying. I want to look for some science projects. And, ooh, okay, so here's another one about Pinocchio's arm, a lie detector test. So I kind of feel like that fits in with what I had about lie detectors. So I'm not going to look at that one right now, but I definitely could skim through here as well. I'm going to actually try just a Google search. And kind of a good tip is if I'm searching for this, maybe I just want to type in the science of lying. And I don't even have to click into everything, you guys. I could look here, and I see here, the more you do it, the easier it gets. The art of lying, why we lie, the science behind our deceptive ways. Lying is among the most sophisticated and demanding accomplishments of the human brain. We have to learn how to lie. Let's see, lying takes work. So let's see. So if I just look into those, maybe I want to click into, and I'm checking the sources here, like this one is Scientific American or National Geographic. Maybe I want to look at the National Geographic article. And actually, you guys, I went back and I clicked into the Scientific American because I had to subscribe to National Geographic. But look at, even in this first sentence here, it is among the most sophisticated accomplishments of the human mind. How can one tell if a person is fibbing? Oh my gosh, that's super interesting to me. So like, how can you tell if a person is lying? And then maybe talking about, are there certain things that people do subconsciously? So meaning they're not paying attention to them and don't even know that they're doing them when they lie. All right, so there you guys, just by going through those couple of websites and those couple of Google searches, I can also look at some videos. So maybe I want to click into this video by SciShow and watch some of these. I'm just coming up now with a ton of different focused ideas based on my one little subject that I was interested in over here. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to fill in the rest of these 6. All right, so now you see I went through, and for all 6 of my topics, I went through and I found some focused ideas that I can go in and I can research a little bit further. And now we're going to narrow this down even more.